President posted old video of Bloomberg this morning calling the president a New York icon. Mr. Trump has officially tapped the U.S. ambassador to Germany to become his new acting director of national intelligence. Richard Grenell has been adamantly loyal to the president and replaces Joseph Maguire, whose term is expiring. With the number of coronavirus cases on the rise in South Korea, the U.S. military is taking extra precautions to protect American service members.
Non-essential military personnel are not required to go to work tomorrow, and gate hours at all U.S. bases are being reduced because of new screening requirements.
As you come through the gate, you may see some of our folks at the gate. They will ask you a series of questions about your travels and how you feel.
Elliot Bradley is the director of emergency services at the Daegu Army Garrison. The mayor of Daegu is urging the city's 2.5 million residents to stay home and wear masks indoors if possible. Cammie McCormick, CBS News, the Pentagon.
It was death by parade float at Mardi Gras in New Orleans last night. Witnesses say a woman was run over by a tandem float.
She was trying to catch beads. She thought the first float passed already, so she went behind it trying to get to the other side, and she tripped over the hitch, and that's when the second float rolled over.
Talk about cold weather. Check out the temperatures in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Tara works at Dottie's Hometown Cafe.
I started my car, and the temperature said 22 below zero. And now that's without wind chill. So with wind chill, we're about close to 40 below.
She says the winter's actually milder than most. The Dow is down 19 points. This is CBS News.
Crystal, the world's most awarded luxury cruise line. Visit crystalcruises.com today to plan your next global adventure. Crystal, where luxury is personal.
Hi, I'm Kevin O'Leary. I host a TV show where I invest in a lot of small businesses. Let me tell you a great story about LinkedIn Jobs. What's the most important hire so many businesses that are growing have to make? The head of social media. When I was trying to hire the right person, I knew I needed somebody eclectic. I would have never found Kirsten without LinkedIn Jobs. A resume is a piece of paper, but you're not going to look at 1,500 pieces of paper. With screening questions, you've got something that'll vet your candidates faster. And that's a tool that's built inside LinkedIn Jobs. Look at their profiles. They're willing to go beyond the normal resume to talk about the things in life that mean something to them. It helps you make the right decision. Who did I find? Kirsten. She sings opera, she wrestles, and she does social media. It was the perfect hire. So use LinkedIn Jobs to find your Kirsten. Go to linkedin.com/Kevin and get $50 off your first LinkedIn job post. LinkedIn.com/Kevin. Terms and conditions apply.
A cop who lost his job is left with very little.
In Croydon, New Hampshire, where town officials fired Police Chief Richard Lee in a butt pinch, he turned over the keys to his police cruiser and handed in his uniform.
I disrobed, and I left my office in my underwear, my boots, and hat.
With no other car or spare clothes, he tells WMUR-TV he walked home in a snowstorm in his underwear. His wife picked him up after about a mile. Lee's ouster means there are no longer any working cops in the town. Many residents say that's scary. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
High drama dairy in Libya. 3,000 camels imported from Australia were walked out of Tripoli after the port where they arrived came under fire. A local merchant says a group of armed men then stole the animals as they passed through a suburb. Camels are often imported to Libya from Sudan, where camel meat is a popular menu item. Normally, they would have been driven to their destination, but there were no trucks available. Deborah Rodriguez.
The station you hear everywhere.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
As a small business owner, you know that running a business is no easy task. You're in the office and on your third cup of coffee before most even roll out of bed. That's why you need office equipment and solutions that help keep your business running smoothly. The experts at RJ Young provide office technology that ensures your business's network stays efficient and secure, so you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business. To discover how RJ Young can help your small business grow, visit rjyoung.com/smallbusiness.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, 92.7 FM's news now.
One single mountain home had to be evacuated following what they're calling a seismic shift. Hamilton County Emergency Management Agency was called by the homeowner when he noticed that his power lines had been pulled tight. His house was evacuated while another affected home is reportedly vacant. The EMA is going to send in a structural engineer to determine how dangerous the situation really is. In Hamilton County, land, especially on steep slopes, has been destabilized by the high amounts of rain we've received. A group of teachers calling themselves Hamilton County United have called on the school board to reinstate Superintendent Dr. Brian Johnson's contract. The new contract includes an $18,000 raise for the superintendent of county schools. The group of teachers appears to be led by Kendra Young, a local educator. Hazardous road conditions are possible this afternoon and tonight, as snow is possible starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Overnight temperatures will get down to the 20s, possibly leading to freezing conditions on the roads. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Good morning, Chattanooga. You're listening to Chattabox with Todd McIntosh and Gary Thurman. Gary's actually out of the office or out of the studio this morning. He's traveling up to Raleigh, North Carolina for a wedding. So we'll be doing a little bit on solo. Our guest today is going to be Mike Kelly, and he's going to be talking with us in the third segment. But I was going to go over what we talked about on Tuesday with our Planning for Life show, just to review a little bit and recap with you guys. Just to give you guys a few stats, I thought this would be kind of a funny ad since Gary is traveling today. I saw some statistics. I read an article earlier, Mike, about flying in the U.S. And it's pretty funny. They talk about cancellations and what the statistics are, compared to previous years. So hopefully Gary makes it to Raleigh okay. But cancellations for this year, 1.9% of all domestic flights end up getting canceled. And if you've ever gone through Atlanta, I think we can probably all agree that 90% of those probably happened there, right?
Yeah, I believe most of those were mine, that 1.9%.
And airlines are known more for maybe delays than cancellations. And they say that a lot of that happens on the tarmac. In fact, the longest delay last year was 5 hours spent on the Newark tarmac waiting to take off. Could you imagine sitting there for 5 hours?
I think I have before. Maybe Atlantic City, but yeah.
That's kind of crazy. So on Tuesday's show, what we did was talk about how to prepare or what to expect for the next bear market. And, we've had a very long period of time since we've had the last bear market in our industry or in our country. And, a lot of people have probably forgotten about the risk involved with a bear market. I mentioned a quote on Tuesday from Winston Churchill. It said, "The pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, but an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty." And the whole goal with that quote was to talk about, how you really need to plan for the unexpected, whether you think it's going to happen or not. You don't want something unexpected to damage what you've been able to put together for retirement. And with Mike here today, Mike's a realtor, so, he's familiar with, the real estate world. And think about it this way, you never expect a big storm to come out and a tree to fall on your house or your car or whatever. But, that's why you got insurance. Insurance is protecting against that unexpected event. And just like with your car or your house, a big investment, your retirement may be the largest investment that you have. And it's great to try to position yourself so that you're in a position where you're not going to be affected as much with that big bear market decline. We've seen, a lot of positive. In fact, if we look, Fidelity did a study the other day saying that there's the most 401k millionaires ever right now. So we've had a great run. But it is time, and we talk about this on our show all the time, that maybe it's an opportunity at this point to capture those gains, lock them in. And there's ways to do that, to take yourself out of that riskier situation, depending on where you are in your road to retirement, whether you're in the red zone, which is going to be, a little closer, or whether you're younger and you're still building that retirement nest egg. It's good to position yourself in a way to where not only are you protected or going to take advantage of an up market like we've seen, but you're also prepared for what could happen in a down market. And for those of us that maybe don't know, just to go over what a bear market is, a lot of people maybe think, there's all kinds of terms being thrown out there, and, correction, bear market, bull market, what do those really mean? A correction is going to be defined by, a 10% decline in the market that lasts less than 2 months. So, maybe what we saw at the end of 2018 in December, where, we saw a pretty big decline in our market, that'd be considered a correction. But really what we watch out for is not the correction, which is a pretty temporary thing, but more the danger is a bear market. And a bear market is going to be a decline of 20% or more from a prior peak that lasted 2 months or longer. So, when we saw the Great Recession back in 2008, 2009, I mean, that's really what we're watching out for and trying to protect folks from when we talk about a bear market. And, if we talk about what caused that decline, and Mike and I were having this conversation earlier, in 2008, 2009, when to a lot of us felt like the world was ending, we can attribute that to the lending market, really. And if we point a finger at, I'm sure a lot of things would contribute to what happened, but the lenders out there were doing what they call predatory lending in that case, where, it wasn't really lending out money that could legitimately be paid back, but they were loaning out too much, loaning out to people who maybe didn't have the income to support what they were being loaned. And it was an unregulated and unrestricted lending style that when we did see a decline in the market and we started seeing the stock market drop, these folks that were put in a position where they couldn't afford to continue paying those payments, and we saw a lot of banks go under, just because of that. So, if we want to look at the advantages to a bear market, it's not all negative. There are some advantages to a bear market. For those of you guys that are still contributing to some sort of retirement plan, and that could be a 401k or your own personal IRA, what we look at as far as a benefit is what's called dollar cost averaging. And what that is when you're contributing continually on a monthly basis or maybe a weekly basis, and the market declines in a bear market, that can be a good thing because you're buying stock at a discounted price. So when that market does recover, inevitably, you're going to get the advantage of having bought that stock at a lower price, and see the appreciation. And really the market, if we look at throughout history, although we do see dips on average every 6 to 8 years, and it's been, longer than that this time, but we do see a cycle in the market, but most of the time throughout history, we've seen it go up. So over the course of, say, 10 to 20 years, even though we do see some bear markets and some corrections, that line typically is on the upswing. So it's a great way to set yourself up for retirement. So if we look at the risk, one of the biggest risks out there that people maybe don't think about is sequence of returns risk. And what that means is when you start taking from a retirement account, and if we were to see that bear market early in your retirement, that impact of not only a decline in the market, but you taking money out of that account is going to affect how long that money is going to last you. If in the same account, if in a sequence of returns risk, if we saw a bull market in the first part and maybe the bear market later, you might see a completely different scenario where that money would last you a lot longer in that scenario. So, it's just something to think about, and it's something that you can't really predict. We talk about all the time on this show how we don't have a crystal ball. We really don't know when the next bear market or when the next recession might come. But it's something that you have to be prepared for so that you don't end up in a situation where you're not ready, and hindsight always 2020. I mean, at that point, it might be too late to do something to protect yourself. So that first risk is accept the unexpected. Just prepare yourself for what might be coming down the road, especially if you're getting into the situation where you're getting close to retirement. This third we're going to talk about, or the second we're going to talk about, is deleverage. Deleverage really is just a fancy word for saying try to reduce the amount of debt you have, whether that be your home, whether it be your car. It makes a big impact on how long your money is going to last if you're having to pay back a high interest loan of some sort, especially if it's a credit card. 3 is diversify, and that's going to lead into the second segment where we're talking to Mike a little bit. He's into real estate here in Chattanooga, and diversifying can be a lot of things. A lot of people may think, hey, I'm diversified because I've got a bunch of mutual funds, and to some degree you are. But the diversification we're talking about really is diversifying your risk. So what you want to do is try to determine, based on how close you are to retirement, how much money you should have at risk and how much money you should have in a little bit safer environment. And maybe look at some alternative investments, which could be real estate, could be rental homes. There's all kinds of different ways to reduce that risk and help your money last a little bit longer. But also protect yourself from what's coming. And then number 4 is rebalance as needed, and it's always good if you've set up a plan, maybe when you're younger, to revisit that plan and make sure you're still on track to do what you think it's going to do. You may be, we mentioned this risk analyzer that we have. It's a software that basically looks at how your portfolio is set up right now and what your risk score is. And you may think that you're a conservative, you're in a conservative portfolio and that's the way you're set up. But if your risk score shows up to be much higher, you may want to relook at that and determine if you're in the right spot and maybe you got a little too much risk out there. There are ways to offer a safer type investment, one that you can't lose money in, but still has an opportunity for growth. And that's something we'd love to help you with. So if you guys ever want to sit down and talk, it's absolutely free. 423-892-4693. Guardian Investment and Accounting is our firm. We'd love to be able to have a conversation with you. You guys are listening to Chattabox. It's normally with Gary Thurman and Tide McIntosh, but today we've got Mike standing in for Gary. And if you guys want to call in the studio line here, we got a brand new studio line. It's 423-710-9927. And you're listening to 92.7. Mike, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Ty.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, been, it's funny. I think today we're supposed to get some snow, the white stuff.
Yeah.
It normally makes the town go crazy. It seems like every time they say it's going to snow, it never does. And then, of course, when they don't say it's going to snow, a couple Saturdays ago, or we got like 6 inches, kind of crazy.
That's probably going to happen again.
So, Mike, how long have you been here in Chattanooga? Did you grow up here, or?
I did. I've grew up in North Georgia in Ringgold. Pretty much been here about the last 40 years, on and off. I only left Chattanooga about 4 years to go into the military. Went into the Gulf War in the Navy in early 90s. Came back. Been here ever since. Got into real estate about 10, 11 years ago, pretty much when the market did go down.
Right.
So, I experienced a lot of things that a lot of people did at that time. And I believe, when you're looking to diversify, that's what we need to look at, in whether it's investment properties, mutual funds, IRAs. I think it's good to just mix up what you have your investments in.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're counting down. We got about 30 seconds left before our break, but we're going to be talking with Mike a little bit more about how maybe you can look into diversifying your portfolio with some real estate or if you guys are just interested in looking at a new home, maybe you're in the market, what makes him a little bit different, maybe his some suggestions on what to do. Like I said, you're listening to Chattabox with Tide and Gary on 92.7 Nooga Radio, and we'll be coming right back after the break. Vascular Institute of Chattanooga is a proud sponsor of Planning for Life with Gary Thurman and Tide McIntosh, and Gary and Tide's Chattabox on Nooga Radio, local radio.
Did you know that 8 to 12 million Americans over the age of 50 are living with a disease that affects their legs and raises their risk of heart attack and stroke? It's called Peripheral Arterial Disease, or PAD. PAD develops when leg arteries become clogged with plaque, fatty deposits that limit blood flow to the legs. It's caused by the same risk factors that lead to heart disease. The physicians at Vascular Institute can help. Vascular Institute of Chattanooga have 3 convenient locations. Visit vascularinstituteofchattanooga.com to make your appointment today.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, 92.7 FM's news now.
Rain and a mix of snow possible this afternoon, meaning road conditions could become dangerous. Hamilton County schools remain open, although surrounding counties have decided to close down. Tonight, temperatures getting down into the 20s, potentially creating dangerous roadways with residual water on the roads freezing over. A 27-year-old rocky-faced man was killed while walking across the road. The Whitfield County Sheriff's Office released the details late yesterday. The GSP says that it happened on Rock Hill Road just off of Highway 3. The man was reportedly wearing dark clothing. He walked across the road and was hit by a car. GSP says the driver will not be charged. The victim identified as 27-year-old Joshua Allen. Hamilton County Emergency Management Agency was called out to a home on Sunset Drive at Signal Mountain. They discovered that the land had shifted. Home on the property was evacuated. Another home affected is vacant. A structural engineer will be sent in to evaluate. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk, 92.7 Action News, now.
Even though they can't figure out which way to dart in front of your car, squirrels are smart enough to prepare for winter weather. So what have you done? One smart move would be to add a Subaru to your life. With a Kelly Subaru, you're ready for whatever Mother Nature has up her sleeve. Sure-footed symmetrical all-wheel drive instantly transfers power from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip. In a Subaru, you get the utility of an SUV and the frugality of an economy car with up to 38 miles per gallon. And folks love their Subarus. Subaru has been named the most trusted brand 5 years running by Kelley Blue Book. And every Subaru model is built in a zero landfill plant where all waste is recycled or turned into electricity. Subarus are safe, frugal, and green. And right now, Kelley Subaru has easy financing and some generous leases too. Be prepared for our unpredictable winter weather in a sure-footed all-wheel drive Kelley Subaru. Downtown Chattanooga, riverfront at MLK, and at kellysubaru.com.
80% of water heaters are made overseas. Every year, 300 blow up. Safety valves fail, they get stuck, or they leak. How do you know you have a problem? Our Heat Guard sensors detect leaks from your water heater. A special price this week for the Heat Guard sensor is $29.99. Call 498-4555. Check out advanced sensors at adsen.info. That's ADSEN.info. Save money, be safe, call today. 498-4555. Order your Heat Guard sensor now.
Hey, you!
Is that my J.A. Hinkle?
You're the reason I'm so dull. I used to be so sharp. Hey, we're going to the knife shop in Ottawa. Only $2 to $5.
That's not much to get you sharpened up. Let's go.
Woo, that's better.
Sharp.
Sharp as a razor.
Looking sharp.
How many pieces of broken jewelry do you have? I had a bunch and needed some extra money, so I took it to Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. He bought it all, and he gave me more than I'd have imagined. I didn't realize how much it was worth until I took it to Rick. I can't thank you enough, Rick. You really helped me out. That's Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds at 5301 Brainerd Road. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road. Call Rick at 423-499-9162.
Chattanooga Florists.
Call 698-3303.
Hey guys, don't call those 800 flower numbers. No way. You'll find hidden fees and costs.
Call 698-3303.
Over 75 years of perfection. Chattanooga Florist delivers the most beautiful arrangements at affordable prices with same-day delivery.
Call 698-3303.
Chattanooga Florist using a personal touch in customizing your floral arrangement with 100% satisfaction guarantee. Chattanooga Florists.
Call 698-3303.
Featuring a nutritionally fed proprietary system that will keep your arrangement fresher longer.
Call 698-3303.
Chattanooga Florist, 1701 East Main Street. Online, chatflorist.com. That's 1T, Chattanooga Florist.
Call 698-3303.
Better smelling, longer lasting floral arrangements. Chattanooga Florists.
Call 698-3303.
Because their main ingredient is love.
For the news that affects you, depend on us.
We will fight them in every way possible.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Welcome back. You guys are listening to Chattabox. Thank you for tuning in to Nooga Radio 92.7. Normally it's Tide McIntosh and Gary Thurman, but today it's Tide. And my guest today is Mike Kelly. Mike is with, he's a realtor here in town. And what's the name of your company, Mike?
Scenic South Properties. We're a small little local brokerage, independent, based near Coolidge Park, North Shore, Chattanooga.
Okay. Well, that's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, if they hear something on the show today that sparks their interest or piques their interest and they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, best number is going to be 423-402-0008. Or they can reach us on our website anytime. We actually have a live feed. They can text us at any point, scenicsouthproperties.com.
Hey, that makes it easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are, I'm sure, on most social medias, right?
We are. We're on all different social platforms, still testing out the new TikTok. So working on that, trying to perfect my dance moves before I get that. So
yeah, I saw an article, or not an article. I think it was on a news program I was watching this morning talking about TikTok. And I didn't even know what TikTok really was. I mean, that's how old I am. But they were saying that most of their people that are using it are kids, and that they're trying to figure out how to transition that into more adults to where more adults would use it.
Sure, yeah, and it's basically just small little. Some of it's followed by music, but you can showcase many little commercials of your business. Throw that out to the public, and it's just randomly feeds all throughout the world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's amazing what social media has done. Just like this show, if you guys are interested, you're not in town and you want to still be able to see it, they do a Facebook Live feed. And, of course, you can go on the website as well. But, it makes it so that, even though a lot of people probably don't know about it, we are available in a lot of different markets, if you're interested in listening while you're out of town. So, the world's become very small with social media and the internet, and that's one big advantage to it. I also want to mention the Vascular Institute. You guys may have heard the commercial on break, but our show is presented by the Vascular Institute of Chattanooga, and you can reach them and find out more about them at the Vascular Institute of Chattanooga.com. We had them on the show a few weeks back and really learned some of the advantages that they've provided to Chattanooga. A lot of things I didn't know about, and it was really interesting. So those guys are definitely a big, strong addition to the local market here. So, Mike, one of the things I was reading, and defining as far as realtors go, you guys are in charge of getting the house ready, but also getting the people ready for selling their house, right? I mean, it's a pretty big responsibility.
It's a huge process. A lot of people actually, take for granted they're trying to do it for sale by owner. They don't know contract law. We don't practice any contract law, but we've been around. When you start doing 400 or 500 home sales, you tend to pick up, how the process works, how to guide people, how to mentor them and get them physically and mentally ready for people walking through their home, what repairs need to be done. Tons of things that sometimes I don't even meet a person up until 7 or 8 months later in the process to actually list their home. There's numerous visits, try to coordinate contractors, everything that it's going to take to get them the most money out of their home and get them from what I typically say, let me get you from A to B.
Right.
It's my goal to get you to B, and what's it going to take to get there? Follow these steps and I will get you there.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people don't realize what all goes into it, whether it be a staging process or, something that needs to be done before the home's offered for sale that the whole point of not doing it yourself and getting a professional to help you is to make sure you're getting the most out of your home, right?
Right. And it is. And I know a lot of people will look at just the monetary, what's it going to cost me to do this? Well, even in the buying process, most people don't understand it doesn't cost you anything to hire a realtor. And I always say, just hire a realtor. They're going to do everything that they need to do, and then the seller will pay them and compensate them for their services.
Right.
So it's basically just a free service for them. But on the selling side, we wear many hats. We are going to guide you to what it takes as far as contractors. We're going to guide you to the best photographers, how to stage it. I offer staging completely free, just like a lot of my services, where someone's going to go in, they're going to visually see the home, not really its contents, but the home, because once those contents are gone, you're not having the couch, you're not having a nice painting on the wall. All those types of things are nice to maybe guide someone in, but you need to make sure the walls are painted. You need to make sure that the floors are clean. So many items that you need to do, whether it's landscaping. A lot of people will look at when's the best time to list my home. Well, I think anytime, because there's always someone looking for a home. Sometimes you may think that aesthetically you need to look and see green leaves on the trees and, have the most picture moment. But are you going to have a more competitive market then? Are you going to have a lot more competition? I think a lot of those factors weigh in on what you need to describe and have your realtor actually with enough experience to guide you and list your property and get the most return.
So you've got a whole house full of furniture just laying around somewhere?
Well, I'm starting to guide that somewhere. I think I've got some in storage. I've had clients actually purchase them. We find things that you just kind of set the scene for people and understand. Like I've got one currently in town, and all we did was buy a dining room table and a king size bed. People, the perception of that you can fit 10 people in this dining room, you don't understand that unless you put a table in it.
Right.
Same thing with the king suite. Most people don't understand it's almost 1.5 feet bigger than a queen. Can I put my side tables there? All these features just visually give people an idea. Then they can go look at the rest of the house.
Right. That makes sense. And I know Chattanooga is probably, we've seen the market change quite a bit over the last few years, and it's become, I've said it before, like a little Nashville. I mean, it's become like a destination town for a lot of folks with all the different events that we got going on here. So that kind of lends itself to the need for VRBOs, Airbnbs, things like that. And I know you helped a friend of ours the other day get set up. Tell us a little bit about how that works and what you did there.
Yeah, basically what we did is we actually seeked out people that either had VRBOs, they were relocating some of their assets. We actually found one where I negotiated all the way down to the linens, the forks, the spoons, everything, where this client, all they have to do is just set up the short-term rental here within the Chattanooga area, apply for that. Once they're approved, get on an Airbnb or some other type of site that does short-term rentals and start actually generating another source of income for them.
Right.
And along with that, being that the market is so great, is that in the area that they're at, their appreciation is somewhere in the 7-8% a year just on that purchase.
Yeah, we've talked about alternative investments and how important it is to maybe have a different bucket for your money and what you're doing to plan for retirement. Real estate can be a great option. You're getting two different things. You're getting appreciation, like Mike just talked about, and our market is probably one of the hottest around as far as appreciation goes. But in the meantime, you're getting rent. So, it can be a great way for you to position some funds that down the road, not only can that property be paid off if you're not paying in cash for it, and then you've got an asset. But in retirement, it can be a source of income that you can't outlive, which is, one of the biggest fears in America right now is outliving, for retirees is outliving your money. So it's definitely a way to go. Just want to mention real quick for you guys just tuning in, you're listening to Chattabox. We're on 92.7 Nooga Radio. We're on this show every Thursday, 10 to 11, and we're presented by the Vascular Institute of Chattanooga. That's a mouthful. It's kind of hard to say. So they go by Vic, but the Vascular Institute of Chattanooga.com, if you guys want to hear more about what they do, they have a great website that kind of describes all the different things that they do over there. So Mike, what sets you apart? What makes you different? There is a lot of realtors right here in Chattanooga, and I know why you're different, but tell the folks out there maybe what sets you apart and makes you different.
I think a lot of it is that I generally care about the client. I want to protect the family. I don't want them to see, when we talk about the recession that we had, people got in over their heads. A lot of times I will tell people, when you're getting approved, go in and get approved for what you can afford, not what they say you're qualified for.
Right.
Qualified is, we would all love to be qualified for $1 million and live in that type of home. Probably wouldn't want to pay the electric bill, but at the same point, you want to go in and have extra income for take the kids to the park, or, on a different end, you can look at life insurance. You can look at, I read where even if you saved $50 a month in an IRA, you could probably have about $129,000, by the time you retired. And that's for any of these kids just coming off off college, looking at their first big jobs. Don't go out and buy the most expensive car. Go in, find what you can afford. Same thing with trying to get a home. You're paying rent. That money is just gone. Can you come in, find a small duplex, live in one side, finance it even as little as 3.5% down, maybe get a gift from your family for a graduation present, and buy a home? In a couple of years, you rent out the other side, maybe even less than a year. Then you're actually going to look for your another one. There you are actually generating another type of passive income.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's a great tidbit for people to think about. I mean, we talk a lot about younger folks getting started. I mean, why not invest in something like that? And what you said is something we talk about a lot on this show is life insurance. A lot of people just don't think about it. It's the number one thing that we look at when we're putting together a plan for somebody, because nothing can ruin your retirement plan quicker than some sort of unexpected event. Then you don't have some sort of coverage for it. And a lot of people don't realize that today's life insurance has what they call living benefits. And what those living benefits can do for you is if something were to happen and you pass away, of course, your family's going to be covered. But the other things that living benefits do is if you get hurt and injured and can't perform 2 out of 6 activities of daily living, you can accelerate some of those, some of that death benefit to provide income in the meantime. So think about it almost like a disability insurance. It's not exactly like that, but it can provide coverage for you, so you're not having to deplete a retirement account, or in the worst case, sell a home that you've built up to get into. I mean, it's an exciting thing, and it's something that needs to be protected for sure. And for a lot of people, it may be, one of their largest investments they ever make.
Yeah, it normally is.
Yeah. So you guys, if you're interested and you have questions about that, feel free to give us a shout. We can give you a really quick quote and let you know what something like that would cost. You can go on to guardianinvcpa.com or call us directly at 423-892-4693. And we had somebody the other day that called our show on Tuesday and was interested in some life insurance, and just with a few bits of information, your age, how much you're looking for, if it's a term policy, what that term is going to be, we can pretty quickly get you some numbers that would at least give you some sort of idea and give you some peace of mind so you don't have to worry about what might happen. You've been listening to Chatterbox with Tide and Gary. We've got Mike here today, and we're getting ready to go on break, but when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more with Mike about the market here in Chattanooga and how you can get involved. Talk to you soon. Vascular Institute of Chattanooga is a proud sponsor of Planning for Life with Gary Thurman and Tide McIntosh, and Gary and Tide's Chattabox on Nooga Radio, local radio done right.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio, 92.7 FM's news now.
One single mountain home had to be evacuated following what they're calling a seismic shift. Hamilton County Emergency Management Agency was called by the homeowner when he noticed that his power lines had been pulled tight. His house was evacuated while another affected home is reportedly vacant. The EMA is going to send in a structural engineer to determine how dangerous the situation really is. In Hamilton County, land, especially on steep slopes, has been destabilized by the high amounts of rain we've received. A group of teachers calling themselves Hamilton County United have called on the school board to reinstate Superintendent Dr. Brian Johnson's contract. The new contract includes an $18,000 raise for the superintendent of county schools. The group of teachers appears to be led by Kendra Young, a local educator. Hazardous road conditions are possible this afternoon and tonight, as snow is possible starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Overnight temperatures will get down to the 20s, possibly leading to freezing conditions on the roads. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk, 92.7 Action News, now.
Southern Honda Power Sports, unbeatable. No dock fee, prep fee, or destination fee, no dealer fees ever. Get to Southern Honda Power Sports and feast your eyes on over 100,000 square feet of Hondas. That's nearly 2.5 acres of ATVs and side-by-sides like the all-new Honda Talon and the ever-popular Honda Pioneer, plus V-twins, cruisers, street bikes, dirt bikes, trikes, and scooters. Honda recommends that all riders take a training course. For your safety, read the owner's manual, wear a helmet and eye protection, always wear a helmet and seatbelt, and keep the side nets and door closed. Honda side-by-sides and ATVs are for drivers 16 years old and older. Southern Honda has thousands of genuine Honda accessories and Honda generators, too. Go see what 100,000 square feet of Honda heaven looks like. And yes, they do take trades. Southern Honda Power Sports on Chattanooga Southside, on Workman Road, and at southernhonda.com. Unbeatable. No dealer fees ever.
Do you have family or personal needs like mine? The name to remember is Empire Gold and Silver. Empire. Put cash in your pocket. Get $100 bills or $50 bills. Maybe a big check. Empire Gold and Silver. Coins, gold, silver, heirlooms, jewelry, treasures. Empire will buy them from you. Go to Empire in Fort Oak. Get cash today for tomorrow's needs. No reason to wait. Empire Gold and Silver. Get your cash now.
Empire Gold and Silver. Find them on Facebook or go to EmpireGoldandSilver.com.
Hey, folks, want to tell you again about the medicine counter. Medicine counter. You know, when you go to a place and you go up to the counter and you get medicine, you know what you call it? Medicine counter. They're in Hickson next to the Aldi, intersection of Gad Road. They've got your custom daily dosed, individualized, multi-packaged, perforated bubble packs that make it very simple for you. And they actually specialize and customize this for you. So if you have to take a bunch of medications daily, make it easy on yourself. Go medicinecounter.com. Have I told you the name of the place is Medicine Counter?
Good morning, guys. Welcome back. You're listening to Chatterbox on 92.7 Nooga Radio. And normally it's Tide McIntosh and Gary Thurman. Gary is he's out today. He's flying to Raleigh, so hopefully he's going to a place that has a little bit better weather than what we're expecting here if we get it.
Hopefully.
They keep saying the white stuff's coming, but it seems like more of the same out there right now. It's raining like crazy. So, but welcome back. We've been talking with Mike Kelly. Mike is a local realtor with Scenic City. Is it
Scenic South?
Scenic South.
Properties.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
a
terrible
mouthful.
about that. It is a mouthful. But we've been talking about real estate here in Chattanooga, and we mentioned a little bit about life insurance and how it's so important, with an investment like this that may be the largest investment that you make in your life for a lot of folks. And, for a lot of folks, you've got two breadwinners or two people bringing income in, or maybe you just got one. And if something were to happen to that one person, you wouldn't want it to affect that big investment. You'd have to sell or do something like that drastic. Having life insurance can obviously give you a peace of mind that if something like that happens, you're covered. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do it with term, which is the least expensive. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but there is a permanent solution as well, and Mike actually has a policy like this. It's a way you can make a monthly contribution, have protection, death benefit, and the living benefits that we talked about in the last segment, where if you get hurt and can't work, they can cover some of that lost income in the meantime. But the great thing about a permanent policy is that it can build cash value. So you get cash that is built up inside this policy that down the road, you can use it for all kinds of things. You can use it if you got somebody getting married. You want to be able to help offset the cost of a marriage, college planning. You can use it for an auto purchase, or what we like to show people a lot of times is using that to create a tax-free retirement income that you can't outlive. And so there's a lot of different variables there that you can use life insurance for. So Mike, the next thing we were going to talk about is kind of the market in Chattanooga and what's going on right now. Let's go over a little bit of that with us.
Sure. Yeah. What we were talking during the break is how low our inventory is right now. I'm sure a lot of people get phone calls from realtors stating that, hey, we need your listings. Well, there's still lots of buyers. A lot of people are coming into Chattanooga. We're creating a ton of jobs, whether it's Amazon, it's Volkswagen, any of the techie centers that are actually moving to downtown. Mm-hmm. They're bringing all these people in. That's why you see all this generation of newer construction, tons of apartments. I've often said, okay, where are all these people coming from? Are they really going to fill all these apartments? Well, they are. I think somewhere they're in the 40-50% right now of every single one that they're building, but they know they're coming.
Right.
And I think we're going to keep expanding. Yes, are we maybe a smaller Nashville, a lot smaller than Atlanta, but, we've got enough where you can get out of town. We have all the different things of the river, the outdoors, and that's bringing a lot of people, So same thing on the market. I show that we're probably down 300, maybe 400 homes than typical. Just this morning, I saw we have 1,986 listings right now. I know that sounds like a lot, but with the greater Chattanooga area, we stretch all the way up into Cleveland, Athens, Dunlap.
What is that market as far as number of homes? Where would that normally hover? If 1,900 is a down market,
yeah,
or smaller.
And down, even right now, I think even within the last couple of weeks, I've seen us somewhere in the 2,300, 2,400. Okay. Maybe a year and a half ago, we were probably over even 3,000.
So that's available homes in Chattanooga.
That's just available. But, even when you look at what's been sold this year, currently pending, there's 1,370 homes right now that are basically having a contract on them. Now, Did we have some of the overflow from, let's say, the holidays, 2019? Yeah, we did. Just in January, there were 710 homes sold. So I think some of that came over from December. February, right now, we're looking at 312 that have been sold already this month. So are we on the same track? Yeah, we're close. We may fall down a little bit, but I believe that's because of the inventory. So, some of the hottest markets, what we find too, is where are people building the most? Where are they trying to bring more people Is it downtown? Is it some of the outer skirts with some of the bigger families? Some of the dual income families that are moving to either newer construction. Ottawa right now, your zip code 37363. Right now, that's been the most popular even this year as far as sold, listing, everything.
There's actually land out there, so
well,
that's part of it.
There is, and that's the difference of living in a city and what people can afford and to build on. Even builders alone, you're looking at, are they buying land less than 25,000 a lot, versus in North Chattanooga, you're paying 100,000. So it's some of the proximity to where you want to live, if you're okay with commuting, or where your actual job is.
Right.
Not everybody actually works downtown, but I know more and more people, depends on whether it's schools or they're outside that. Maybe they're a younger generation that want to live, work, play downtown.
Right.
And that's what we really try to attract, is a lot of people that want to do that with inner city living.
Yeah, it amazes me. You go downtown these days, and there's areas of downtown that when I grew up, you just didn't go into. It was, not necessarily the nicest part of town. And now all of your major construction is going on in those areas. And it seems like every day there's some gigantic building going up. And I'm sure that affects the market to some degree, right?
It does. It's going to affect on every once in a while. I will see a flux of 100, 200 listings in any given day. Now, is that someone maybe that they're going to list an entire condo complex? Possibly. But I think that the market grows as they do the construction, or some of those people are they deciding, hey, people like me that are suggesting to them, quit paying the rent, go out there, you can afford for what you're paying, probably with a lower rent payment or a lower mortgage payment than what you've been paying in rent, and maybe afford other things, whether it's trips, it's the life insurance that we talk about,
right.
Or, I like to diversify as much as possible. Do you want to get into the rental market yourself and actually go in and start renting something that you're owning?
Yeah, we talked about earlier in the second segment about VRBOs and how that's become such a big deal. With all the events that are focused around the river, there's a big need for that, and that's a service that you provided for some folks here lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. What I've seen is that people can come in, they'll purchase a home, and they either have extended family staying, that they can rent it during all the big outdoor events we have, our festivals, triathlons, everything that we have. And what they're finding is that people want to go into not one of these single family or single unit hotel rooms, that they can actually go rent a home and feel like they're
Right.
actually home. And commonly just leave in and out, maybe cook breakfast and go out and enjoy our beautiful city.
Yeah, it's definitely better. I know we've gone out of town with friends before, anytime you can rent a house and all be together and kind of get that, the enjoyment of not just a hotel, it makes a big difference for sure. You guys have been listening to Chattabox. We're on every Thursday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio 92.7. If you have a question for Mike, he's our guest today, you can call the studio line at 423-710-9927. We've got a brand new line. And Chattabox is presented by Vascular Institute of Chattanooga. Vascular Institute of Chattanooga.com is how you get a hold of those guys and find out a little bit more about what they do. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about your marketing strategy and what you do to market a home.
Normally what I'll do is the first thing when I call and talk to a seller, I always ask that I want to see them in person. I want to see their home. I want to be in their environment. A lot of people will say, hey, just come to an office and let's strategize. But, you still have to make that effort to go out to the home, take a look at it, give all the recommendations that I always give. So my first step is doing an interview with the actual seller. I'll go in and determine what other steps that we have to make. Once again, am I going to go in and market this home super quick and sell it? What is their next step? That's another thing that I'll normally ask is, okay, if I'm going to get you to B, what is B? Are you going to move out of town?
Right.
I've had numerous people that the good thing about being a licensed realtor is that we can give referrals all over the world. and I've done this several times with people either in Canada, Florida, New York, that I can connect them with another realtor that thinks the same way I do, is going to take care of my clients just like I do, and they're going to get them to that next step as well. Because that's the last thing you want, is to not be prepared that, oh, I didn't think you'd sell my home this quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just something to think about. And so as far as timing goes, you know, how long does it typically take these days to sell a home in Chattanooga?
You know, I think it's more or less the preparation. So, you know, a lot of people will see, oh, hey, Mike, you sold the house really quick. That was pretty easy. But a lot of people won't see that I came there 6-7 months later, whether it's winter, gearing up for spring, getting their home ready, contacting the contractors maybe in my database to say, hey, can you help my client get there? We need to get the most return for it. And I'm not saying you have to totally redo your home, but find the things that you as a buyer want to see as well. You want to walk in a home, you're paying top dollar in this market. So you're not going to go in and say, okay, I still have to do thousands and thousands of dollars of work to this. So you go in, you take care of that, and then you're going to actually sell it a lot quicker. So can you sell it in 30, 40 days? Yeah, I believe you can, because your typical loan program from conventional to FHA is anywhere 30, maybe even 21 days, as little as that, depending on your lender and how fast that you want to actually help your lender get there. And that's providing all your necessary information, doing your diligence to actually get the home closed, getting all the documents to the title company. So that's the most important. But yeah, you can see it as quickly as 21 days.
That's a pretty quick turnaround. Hopefully they're going to be ready.
I usually advise that they are.
So if somebody's out there and they're listening and they're maybe thinking about selling their home, is there a certain price range of home that you specialize in, or is it all kinds?
It's really all kinds. You know, I've sold lots all the way down to $4,000 in the inner city, all the way up to almost $3 million.
Wow.
It just really depends. I've done commercial, residential, licensed in both states of Tennessee and Georgia. I've helped people even multifamily all the way down to Macon, Georgia. So it just really depends. If there's a need, I can find it. You know, we typically, with this lower market, we will look for searching our database of any pocket listings. And a pocket listing is basically something that somebody may not be ready to market right now, but they'll let their agent know. If someone comes along, let them know this is what I've got available. And then they'll put it on the market and sell it super quick. And we kind of call that almost a comparable sale.
Yeah, so if you guys out there are interested and you want to get a hold of Mike and use him, or at least talk to him about selling your home, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Mike?
Yeah, best way again is going to be our telephone number, 423-402-0008, and that will ring directly to me 24 hours a day. Otherwise, you can go, if you'd like, go on our website, scenicsalproperties.com. And we have a live feed on there where you can text us, email us, chat directly with us at any time.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming in to Mike, spending a little bit of time with us. You guys have been listening to Chattabox. It's with Gary Thurman and Tide McIntosh, and we'll be back next Thursday. We'll have a brand new guest on for that. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and if you have any questions for Mike, feel free to give him a call. He's a great resource here in Chattanooga, and he can definitely get you on the right track to get your home sold in as little as, 20 days or so. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great day. Stay safe if there's a snow out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe.